So law of sines, law of cosines, and area. So all of it is in this note packet, and we'll just work our way through it. Okay? So Pythagorean theorem. What is the Pythagorean theorem? A squared plus b squared equals c squared.
Your junior high band members are to get your instrument and head to the auditorium. Junior high band members.
Now this can only work on a right triangle.
With the high school this morning. Please get your instrument and go to the auditorium.
Okay, this only works on right triangles. So if we don't have a right triangle, we have an issue. We'd have to make 2 right triangles and find other things and the altitude, and makes it all hard. So there's nice things called law of sines and law of cosines that come to the rescue. Okay, what are the different side combinations that you can make? Like, what were the different side angle? Oh, I'm sorry, side angle combinations for providing triangle congruency. So you had what? Side, angle, side congruency. And you had angle, angle, side. You had side, 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 but that doesn't have side angle, does it? So we got side, angle, side, angle, angle, side, 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 side. I feel like there's another one. Hypotenuse, leg. That's not, those are 2 sides again. I think we have them covered. Okay, so that's what we have. Which angle side combination didn't work for providing a triangle congruency? Which one didn't work? The side angle. Remember that? Because I said that was only the person who tried to use it. It's been a long time since geometry, hasn't it? Yeah. Okay. Noting that the angle sides are given will help you solve this triangle. So this is what you need. This, I don't know, all that upstairs was fluff. Okay, law of sines is side A over the sine of angle A, and this should be a capital A because angles are capital letters, yes. That's what I get for not making my own packet. Side B over the sine of angle B. And side C over the sine of angle C. Bless you. Now, we obviously are not going to solve 3 proportions or ratios in a row, are we? We only need 1 complete ratio and then what we're missing of the others. Does that make sense? Complete ratio is up and down. This can be used to solve triangles where they're not right and where our angle side and angle are available. We need at least 2 angles and a side or 2 sides and an angle. Okay, so we either need 2 sides and an angle or 2 angles and a side to complete. Because we got 4 things, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So you need 3 of the 4. Make sense? Okay, given 2 sides and a non-included angle, which is the side angle, be careful here. Make sure you have those. We also can write this not just as this. We also could write it as the sine of A over A equals the sine of B over B equals the sine of C over C. Why can I do that? All I did is what? I just reciprocated it, so it shouldn't matter. But I have to reciprocate everything, not just one of them. Okay, so you have to have, like I said, a complete ratio, meaning a side and an angle, to make this work. Okay, so example 1, given 2 angles, solve. I give you a picture here, you will have to draw your own pictures. They don't have to be nice pictures, but I'm going to encourage you not to make triangles that look right. Does that make sense? Because in general, we will not have right triangles. Oh, you will need a calculator. Grab one. Or use Desmos. Bring Desmos up on your computer. Yeah, Sam, I need that before you leave today. Do you have your calculus book?
No.
Not your calculus book, your pre-calc book? You don't use that.
No, not my calculator.
Oh, you use your calculator? Okay, you can keep it till the end, but I'm going to keep pounding you about it. Okay, so find the third angle. If I have two angles, what does the third angle have to equal?
Add those two together, minus 180.
Okay, so I will say solve the triangle. Solve the triangle means find all the angles and all the sides. Okay? So, angle A would equal 180 minus 132, right? If I add those up. And I'm pretty sure that's 48 degrees. And I do expect to see your work. I will go through one on your homework with you to kind of show you an easy way to format your work, because on here it's kind of weird. The first thing I would do, see how I'm labeling it so I know what you're finding. This is not multiple choice grading. I need to know what I'm finding. Okay, find the sides using the law of sines. Other rule of thumb is use what you're given, not what you find. Now, if you have to use something you find, that's fine. But use what you're given first. Why would I say that?
Because if you're wrong on the other one, you're going to be wrong on all of them.
Right. If you're wrong on one, you're going to be wrong on all of them. So we're missing side A and side C. I have my complete ratio with angle B and side B. So since I'm finding sides, I put the side on the top. So 15 over the sine of 25. And I usually go in alphabetical order. Does that offend anybody?
Yes.
Okay, so then we were going to find A over. Now, do we have a choice here whether we use 48 or not? No. But if I'm given two angles, isn't the third angle pretty much a given? Unless I just subtract wrong. Okay, over the sine of 48. So now I just have my ratios where I multiply over by sine of 48. So in your calculator all at one time, sine of 48. Oh, that's weird. 15 sine of 48, right? Divided by sine of 25. And you might want to make sure your calculators are in degrees because we're putting in degrees. So go to mode, make sure they're in, I would assume that Emma's and Sam's are right, but it may not be. And A is approximately 26.4. And if there's units, you'd put the units there.
Which one?
A.
We have to find C.
Yep, now we have to find C. So I'm going to do the same thing again. So 15 sine of 25, because that was my given complete ratio, right? Equals C over the sine of 107. So multiply over by the sine of 107. And you'll see me on my paper just write this sometimes. But I do want, and I should have written it over here, I want to see exactly what you're putting in your calculator. Because We all know how sometimes we're not very good at putting stuff in our calculator, right? So the other thing you could also do on this instead of retyping is hit second enter and go back and change your 48 to 107. So 10 and then insert 7 if you didn't want to retype it all. So I got approximately 33.9. That's what you guys got. You guys want to try the next one on your own?
Sure.
Okay, go for it. Did you guys get the same answers I did?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not done.
Oh. Where are you stuck?
Make sure I put the right numbers.
Oh, okay.
I did.
So with B, I could do sine of 30. I know that one, right? Sine of 30 is 1/2. So then I multiply over by that, and I got 15 over sine of 35. So if you just multiplied over by sine of 30, you still got 26.2, right? Okay. Other than putting the wrong numbers in, Alex, are you good?
I gotta do C.
Are you too good? Okay. What's going on? Or are you malfunctioning? I feel like you're making this way hard.
I just can't think.
Okay, we want to use, why did I use 30 and sine of 35 as my main one when I found 35?
Because there's no other side.
There's no other side. So this is going to be my complete ratio that I have to use. Oh, I'm sorry, this one. I pointed to the wrong 30. A is going to be my complete ratio I have to use. So I have 30 over sine of 35, and then C over sine of 115, 30 over sine of 35, and B over the sine of 30. Okay? Are we good? Okay, ambiguous. What does ambiguous mean? It's a big word.
Ambiguous?
Mm-hmm.
You said,
What? What's it mean? You guys don't know what it means?
no.
No. What?
We don't want big words.
Means unclear. Okay? So the first two examples, what do you notice about them? They both had what? What did these both have in common? Of the parts I gave you. They both had two angles, correct?
Mm-hmm.
When they have two angles, the third is a given. There's no ambiguity about it. It's that's what it is. Well, but if I give you two sides, so if I give you side angle, we have some options. Because when I do, because it's law of sines, right? When I'm finding the sine is y, correct? Y is positive in both the first quadrant and the second quadrant, correct? And if I have the sine of 135 and the sine of 45, what isn't the sine of 135 equal to the sine of 45, which is square root of 2 over 2? Aren't they both the same sine? And couldn't I make a triangle that goes like this or a triangle that goes like this? Okay, so if I only give you one angle, could I possibly have two triangles that come from that angle? Yes. But if I give you an obtuse angle, can there be two triangles? Because there's only how many obtuse angles in a triangle? One, right? So if I'm giving you only one angle, but the angle's obtuse, I only do one triangle. But if I'm giving you one angle and that angle is acute, there might be two. Well, they say that's wrong. They say if A is obtuse, there are two possibilities. That is wrong. Oh, well, this is how they explain it. If A is greater than B, there's one triangle. If A is less than equal to B, there's no triangles. But I'll show you a different way. It's easier to do. So if you're only given one angle and you can use law of sines, you have to check for how many triangles? Two. Given one angle and you can use law of sines. Now, when we can use law of cosines, which we will go over next week, there is only ever one triangle. So I kind of like law of cosines because then I don't have to think about two triangles. So they just show you pictures of this, and then they show you pictures of the two different triangles you could make. There's a all bunch of yeses and nos. I think we just go for it, okay? So to figure it out, first, always draw a picture. They gave you a picture this time, but after that, we won't. Given the triangle with measure of angle, A is 120, side A is 22, and side B is 15 centimeters. So we got units this time, so our answer should have units in it, right? I write them on my picture, lest I'll forget. I don't like that they made it look kind of like a right triangle because my brain wants to use Pythagorean theorem, even though it isn't. Okay? I just want to get into examples. I don't want to do all that. You guys don't want to do tests, do you?
Test.
Tests.
What is that?
No, like, do you want to go through all these tests? If A is equal to B is H, do you want to do all this stuff? Or do you just want to look for triangles? You want to look for triangles, right? So that's going to take us clear to what? The bottom. Another way to deal with these. This is probably how I'm going to have you deal with them. Okay, so I have this. Yes? That's what I have. I'm given one angle, so I possibly have two different triangles. Okay? So I have angle A and side A, and I have side B. Do I have enough to use law of sines? Yep, I have a complete ratio and I have one other side. Yep. So what is the only thing I can find at this point?
Fine.
The only thing I can find at this point is what?
B.
Angle B. So I have angle B, or the sine of B, and I put B, this in the numerator this time because I'm looking for an angle. And what's the side B? 16 over 16 equals, what's the angle we have? 30, so sine of 30 over 20. Thank you. Okay, so then we have to find this angle, so we have to multiply over by 16. Yes? And when I find an angle, I have to take the inverse, don't I? Oh, you guys have not been here. So I have sine of B equals 16 sine of 30 over 20. But I can't do this because it's not just B. What do I have to do? To find an angle, you take the inverse because I need to switch these two. So angle B is going to be the inverse sine of 16 sine of 30 divided by 20. And I expect you to put this in your calculator all at one time, not in pieces. Because if you have a rounding error, I will count you off for it. So inverse sine of 16 sine of 30. I don't know why I'm putting sine of 30 in there because half of 16 is what? 8. Divided by 20. Did everyone get 23.6?
Mm-hmm.
Do it. What in your calculator?
Figure out how to use a calculator.
Well, you got to know how to use it.
Well, I know how to use it.
So 23.6 degrees. And I do expect you to use approximately because we are rounding. Did you get that? Okay. So now the other possible angle. So this is the angle in the first quadrant, right? But we also have the possibility of the angle in the second. So those two angles would be supplementary, wouldn't they?
Mm-hmm.
So we say angle B prime, because that's the second one, is equal to, because we're not going to round anymore, or whatever, 180 minus the first B you found. So 156.4. Okay. Now, these are my two options, yes? What do all three of the angles in a triangle add up to be? 180. At this point is when you know if there are two triangles or not. Okay? So I started with 30 and I found 23.6. Is that safe? I have a third angle available. Yes? Okay, I started with 30 and I found 156.4. What's wrong with that, Sam? It's over 180. If it's equal to 180 or over 180, is that possible? No. So there is no second triangle. So right here, you would do this work and you'd put no second triangle. And your reason why is 186.4 is greater than 180. No, it's greater than equal to, because it can't even be equal to 180, can it? Okay, so now we would go through just finding one triangle. So let's finish this triangle out. Oh, the conclusion was right there. I don't like guided notes because then you have to put things where they have them. Okay, so we're only going to have to find one. So I have angle A, I have angle B, I now can find angle what? C. So angle C is going to be 180 minus, what, 153.6? Not 153.6, 53.6. I get 126.4. What do you guys get?
Yeah.
Okay. So then I need to find side C and side B. So the complete ratio I'm using is A and A, right? So I have C over sine of 126.4 equals 20 over sine of 30. Well, half is, for both by reciprocals, 40. So C equals 40. Yeah, you guys do it, and I'll do it.
We already have B.
Yeah.
Oh, that's C, not B, right? No, that was,
Why did you do B?
Then you just did B.
Yeah.
I don't know. I proved it, it's right. Woo woo. I don't know. It's right, isn't
I
it?
was like,
That's what she does.
I don't know why I did that.
I did it 40.
How'd I get 40?
Did you?
'Cause-
But I do it
Well, because sine of 30 is a half, multiplied by reciprocal is 40. When I've got sine of 30, I just go with it. I put a half in.
over. Look at it.
Every time I see sine of 30, it's half. Okay, so what about the next one?
The next one?
Hmm? So do I have enough for law of sines?
Yeah.
Yep. But there's only one angle, so I have to look for how many? Two triangles. So what's the only thing I'm able to find right now? What B?
Capital B.
So angle B is what I was looking for. So how would I find angle B?
From A. From angle A.
Okay, I put triangle 1, triangle 2, so I make sure I'm finding both triangles. Now that they gave me room to actually do what I normally do. What?
So how do we know there's two?
There's possibly 2, because I can use law of sines and I have one angle. So how am I going to find angle B?
Well, sine of B over 16 equals sine of 30 over 7.
Okay. So sine of B. Over 16 equals sine of 30 over 7. So angle B is going to be the inverse sine. I immediately just do inverse sine because that's what you have to do, right? 16 times sine of 30, so 8. 8 over 7.
Oh.
16 times sine of 30. What's sine of 30?
Can I just leave 16 sine of 30?
I don't care. What's wrong, Alex?
1/2 over 7, 1/14. Am I right?
Right, but 16
Right.
times a half is 8.
Yeah. Okay.
So 8 over 7. Okay? Put that in a calculator. What's it tell you?
I didn't like it.
Domain error. Keep reading. Says domain error what? Nothing. Just says domain error. Error.
Value entered is not allowed in the function or command.
Okay. So I see the problem with the way mine is written. There is no way that you can see the problem with what yours is written. This is putting this, so this is the range of sine, yes? What does sine bounce back and forth between?
1.
1. What's wrong with this?
It's over.
It's over 1, isn't it? So if you put the 16, if you put inverse sine of 16 sine of 30 over 7 in your calculator, are you going to see that this is over 1? No. So if you get this message, it could be that you put things in the calculator incorrectly. Yes? But it also could be it doesn't work. So what you need to do is go to and go back and delete your end parenthesis and delete your inverse sine.
So it's just
So it just seen what I'm taking the inverse sine of and hit enter.
so it's 16 sine.
So divided by 7. It's this right here. You didn't need to retype it. I didn't want you to retype it.
Well, I pressed delete and then it took the whole thing off. So
Okay. So this right here. So can I have a triangle then? No. So my answer here, you always want these and you only get like 1 on a whole test, if any. So there's no triangle. And your reason why is because you just type that in your calculator. I would write 8/7, but you'd have 1.14. 1.14 is greater than what?
1.
1.
Is it greater than equal to?
No, because it can be equal to 1. On the other one, it can't be, two angles can't be equal to 180. So sometimes you have no triangles.
Yay.
Yeah, doesn't happen very often. What's wrong?
So you don't have any triangles?
No, you're done. This is your work. There could have been two, but we couldn't even find one. So if there's not a first one, there's definitely not a second one.
Okay.
Okay, so this third one has to have two triangles, right? Just because the nature of the beast. We had one, none, now we get two. Okay, so can I use law of sines? Yes. And I'm given one triangle, so there's a possibility of triangle 1 and triangle 2. Can we skip just to the inverse sine part of it, or do I need to write the whole ratio out? Okay. So we're looking for angle B again. So sine of B over 16 equals sine of 30 over 10. So angle B equals 16, 8 over 10, or inverse sine. 8 over 10, or whatever you guys want to put in there. I got 53.1. What did you guys get? Is that what you got too, Sam? Okay, so we got 53.1 and we got 30, so we're good to go on the second triangle? Yes. So angle B prime is going to equal second, because we have, this was angle B. You can't have two angle B's. So you have angle B and angle B prime. So first triangle, second triangle, is going to be 180 minus angle B. So 180 minus 53.1. And you get you should get 126.9. Okay? So now, I want to finish before we leave, but I don't want to go too fast. We need to find side C and angle C in triangle 1 and 2. And they're going to be different, correct? Because you got different angles. So since I'm over here, I just finish triangle 2 and then I go back to triangle 1. That's just what I do. Okay? So if I have 30 and 126.9, I can find angle C very easily, correct? Mm-hmm. So this is angle C prime, because we're in our prime triangle. So that would be 180 minus 126.9 plus 30.
Plus 30?
Well, I put parentheses. You got to add those two. I'm just doing it in lots of detail. I don't have room to put the answer. So 180 minus 120. I got 23.1. So 23.1 degrees, and don't forget your degrees. So now I have to find side C prime. So it's going to be C prime over sine of 23.1 equals, Now, you need to use this complete ratio that you were given to start with. Nothing we've found. Got it? So we have 10 over sine of 30. And then, so C prime is going to be 10 sine of 23.1 divided by sine of 30. And I get approximately 7.85. Okay. Now I got to come back and find angle C in the first triangle. So what am I going to use to find angle C in the first triangle? $180 minus 53.1 plus 30. So 83.1. Is 96.9. And then side C. So C over sine. Oh, I forgot my degree. Sine of 96.9 equals 10 over sine of 30. So C equals 10 sine of 96.9 over sine of 30. Are you showing a lot of work? Yeah. And I get approximately 19.86. Or if we do 3 significant digits, but whatever. Okay, now here's your choices. I was planning on giving you an IXL tomorrow with law sines and law cosines. I do have a worksheet that I have all the worked out solutions. So would you rather the IXL? Because I think you need to do something tonight. Okay, you want to do the worksheet? Tonight or tomorrow? Tonight? Let me see how many I got. You want to work on it both tonight and tomorrow?
Yeah.
Which might be an option. Well, there's only 8 problems on it. So how about this is what it is. Okay, so your worksheet looks like this. And I forgot to double side it, but I will staple the solutions to it. Okay? How about your assignment is A through F?
Okay.
I would suggest working on another piece of paper.
Okay.
Got it? Mm-hmm. So assignment here is A through F. And Olive, here they are. So you can see them all. And I will leave the worksheet with the answer key connected to it. And that's what you work on tomorrow.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I